Namaste. I would like to discuss about the Gen Z generation and their perspective on having children. I believe the Gen Z generation is going to be more practical when it comes to raising children. Okay? I'm a part of that Gen Z generation, and for myself, I don't feel the need to have children, and there are a lot of older generations that find that quite strange, okay, that I don't want to, have children. And I know I'm not the only young person who feels this way, okay. My perspective is that we need to let the planet breathe, okay. So when I go out and I see families having a lot of kids, and I can just see these kids are not very comfortable. They're not given to. A lot of them are not even really provided for, just kind of like breadcrumbs here and there. And I'm very practical in the way that if I am to have a child, I want to give to them. And also a part of giving to a child is also a relationship. I see so many, I can just see there's so many single mothers that have children with men that they don't even really know. That they don't, you know somebody for 6 months, you know them for a year, and you have a baby with them, and then maybe you stay together for another 2 years, and then you really don't know them. You don't know them. And I see, again, we're having sex with people very quickly, and then sometimes we have babies with them, and we really still don't know them. We know them just through like emotional sort of connection, or through, the coming together sexually really early, but we don't really know them. We're not really friends with them. So I see a lot of relationships where the couples are not even friends, and I'm like, what is going on? And I know I'm not the only Gen Z person who feels this way. For me, I am very much committed to my path of being a humanitarian. And for me, I would rather help the children that are on the planet than bring more children into the planet, okay? Because what is not practical is for me to get lonely and to have a child because I want the feeling of a tribe or someone to love me, okay, or I yearn to love someone. What is not practical is for me to be in a relationship that I am not, it's not very harmonious, and for me to have a child, okay, in that relationship that is just going to bring more pain to my life, okay. What is not practical is for me to just get pregnant, okay, just to get pregnant, just some dude, and to deal with the pain of that, okay, the emotional ache of that. So some people, they can get very offended, they can get very offended when I speak of that I simply don't want to have children if I'm imbalanced. I'm talking about financially. I'm talking about emotionally. I'm talking about my relationship. I'm talking about mentally. And some people are offended. And for my perspective, I'm like, so are we supposed to have children when we're imbalanced? Is it just kind of, okay, so it just happens, it just happens. And a part of the Gen Z is with raising children is not something that just happens. It is very practical in the way that it is thought out. It's very conscious. So if there's children that to come through this generation, I feel like it's going to be very conscious. It's not going to be just, I got pregnant by some dude I was just, sleeping with a couple nights. I didn't get pregnant by a man I was with that I don't really know, or I know that he's not really the man to really be reliable, but, I just kind of want to experience tribe, so I'm just going to, create my own tribe by, having all these kids, or for some people, have kids to kind of, show other people that, hey, I look at me, I have a life, kind of thing. Okay? I see so many children out here who do not have a clue. And I feel that's unnecessary. I feel that, as being a parent, if you are a parent right now, it is challenging on this planet. And you can watch my video about the tribe and how versus the tribal days of raising children versus the 21st century, and that's going to be really eye-opening for you to watch that video, okay? But we, especially as parents right now, we are expected, particularly as mothers, to give to the child this great knowledge, great teaching, great wisdom, and yet we are still very shaky ourselves, because it's shaky out there on the planet for man and women. We're transforming. And for me, about like letting the planet breathe is like, let us as people find our balance through this age before we go ahead and try to help these children find their balance. Okay? Because the number one, you could say, healing that I'm seeing that it must take place for us to really feel secure in our self-esteem and self-worth again is healing the childhood. That's the number one, we could say, root issue that is really blocking everybody from, higher self-worth, okay? Higher self-esteem is the childhood. That's the number one major issue for a lot of people is the childhood, okay? So we're in balance, and we know we're in balance, okay? But having children, we cannot give if we're imbalanced. It's very, very hard for us to give when we're imbalanced, because when we're imbalanced, we tend to be more animalistic. We tend to the same thing as we tend to be very neurotic. Okay, when we're not balanced, particularly a woman, we tend to be more animalistic. We tend to be more neurotic, and therefore our child cannot get the nutrients from us. A child gets nutrients from our balance as a woman, and even a relationship with a man. Okay, they can't get any nutrients from our imbalances or from our neurotic, our kid's 5 years old and we're scrolling through the dating apps trying to find our next husband. There's no nutrients. That gives nothing to a child. It gives nothing. It helps a child with nothing, really. Okay. Or we have a kid, and our kid's about 7, and we've gone through a divorce, and we are now wanting to discover our purpose. So we kind of forget about our kid, and we focus, I want to know my purpose. I've already been a parent for 7 years. I want to focus on me now. I focus so much on my kid. I want to focus on me now. I want to focus on what do I want to do that makes me happy? Well, what creative project what do I want to do? And then the kid's kind of like 7, like, what? Like, I need you, Mom. Like, you need to give to me. I can't just figure this out just on the whim. I'm reliant on you to give me just the right setup so that all I need is just the right sort of setup, and I can really soar. So a lot of children that are coming in right now are actually very old souls. And the way that, if you're watching this and you're a Gen Z, or, you're a millennial or a young person, we are very old souls, because we come into these very imbalanced families, or very imbalanced mothers and fathers, and that relationship sort of imbalance. And we know that a part of our, you could say, healing, our karma healing, or we could say our contribution to the great healing of planet Earth is healing, not only healing, but also overcoming that imbalanced family life. And that's what we took the challenge as old souls. We took the challenge. we're using that imbalance of the mother, the imbalance of the father, the imbalance of the relationship to be our great our great victory. Not our great sabotage or our great reason why we are never to have balanced career or a balanced mind or emotion. Okay, no. We're using that as basically we're testing ourselves to see how persistent, how resilient are we as young people to overcome the temptation to allow the mother's resentment towards the father to block us from being worthy to receive, and actually to receive reciprocity in a relationship. We're using that resilience, that grit as old souls to triumph over the mother's imbalance and the way that she's addicted to alcohol or smoking. Okay, we're using our old soul to heal. You could say the mother's low self-esteem, where she invites a bunch of men into the house and they come and go when they please. Okay, so I mean, when you go out there in the world, you see what's going on. I remember I had a police officer come in my house, and I was talking to him, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, what? I want to learn. Can I just interview you? I want to have so many questions. Can you answer them all? And this was in the Tennessee state. And he told me, he basically said that he deals with a lot of mothers calling the cops on their sons or teenagers because of some sort of problem. And the same thing, this cop told me that these sons, these young teenagers, are having problem with the mothers because a lot of the mothers, he said, are just inviting just these creepy men into the house, and these young teenagers don't like that. That's why they're becoming what we call rebellious as teens, because they don't like that. They don't want their mother to be interlocked with some creepy dude who comes over only for sex. So he told me, he said this is what he said. He tells a lot of men that you don't need to have sex with every woman you meet. And when he said that, I will never forget that. I will never forget, because I was thinking the same thing, but I thought maybe that was just me being a little bit, maybe I'm just, it's not like that. It's just me thinking that's like that. It's not like that. But when he told me it's like that, in his personal experience of going to these homes and seeing these women in the state of Tennessee, in this Davidson County area, I was like, wow. Okay, so when you go out there and you interact with the world, you get to see, okay, the imbalances and that what the children have to overcome. For example, there's, as we know, in the state of California, there is a huge homeless crisis that's going on, and a lot of the homeless people, some of them were in the foster system, where they were just kind of dropped off at the foster because their parent, had them but couldn't take care of them, and then they join the homeless population very quickly after they turn 18 because they have no clue how to finances or how to heal emotions or how to be mentally balanced. So they become homeless, and then they get pregnant because they're trying to fill a void. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? The great imbalances. So as a Gen Z, I'm very practical in the way that I want to focus my energy on what is here right now, not as what is possibly, child in the spirit realm want to coming to earth. It's more so with the Gen Z, I feel like there's going to be more of an interest in really focusing on the balancing of oneself. Okay, the balance of oneself. Like we know when we have children that the whole balancing yourself is like something that is like out of the question. You have to basically give to this child. And if you don't have like a really supportive or reliable, dependable husband, you're gonna you're basically kind of on your own, sort of thing, when it comes to figuring out how can you keep yourself sane and then keep your child, happy, healthy, holy. So I feel with the difference between the Gen Zs is that I am not the only one. We see in the world that these children are not, a lot of them are not very comfortable. A lot of them they're not very balanced because of the family, the mother usually, okay? So I feel like we're wanting to change. We're wanting to change the way that we have kids and the way that we also have relationships. We're wanting to balance ourselves out, to balance ourselves emotionally, mentally, psychologically, physically, sexually, so that when having a child is a very it's almost like it's a very deep promise that we know we can fulfill. So it's like, as a soul, we all make promises to these spirits, okay, the spirit babies, that I'm going to help see you through. But then it's not practical because we have no tools. We have no tools to see the baby through into, whatever it is. We don't have no tools. So I'm talking about a deep promise is like we have done the work within ourselves as women and men. We have done the work. I've gone through the rut. I have gone through this, the childhood wounds. I have gone through the negative mental stuff. I've gone through that emotional suffering. I've gone through it, and I have earned the privilege to see this child through. I've earned it. It's not just something kind of pop out of me. I've earned the privilege to see this child through in life. Now, I don't necessarily know if a lot of mothers have that kind of mindset, because I do know, so, like, I see some things about women, in their 30s, and they're going, they're hot for sex. That's the time when women are really, roused, you can say, in like the 30s period, and even more. Women tend to, what they call, appreciate with age. Well, men kind of depreciate with age, when it comes to sex drive. And she loves the sex with this guy, but she feels a spirit baby, but she knows in her heart this is not her life partner. She knows that this is not the man she's meant to have a child with, and he already has a child with his ex-partner. And she's wondering, should I go through it or not? Or should I not? That kind of thing. And there are many, many things out there like that, where even family members who just get married to some creepy dude, everyone's like, ugh, kind of thing, and has a bunch of babies with him, and he just wants to sleep. He doesn't even want to work. He just wants to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Because he's tired. He's exhausted. He's tired. And she's tired. Everybody's tired, and the kids are just kind of like just sitting there in the playpen all day long because the parents are tired. So that's what I'm saying. As Gen Z, we look at this and we're like, it's okay. Like, we can just let the planet breathe. Like, let's just be us. Like, we don't need to necessarily have kids. Yes, we're all tired. Okay, we're exhausted because, the pressure of this age is really heavy duty. It's heavy duty. And that's okay that, we don't have kids. I mean, we have many lifetimes on planet Earth. I'm sure we've had many, many kids in many, many lifetimes, So I feel with the Gen Z, we're more so focused on how can I, there's a service thing. How can I be of service to what is here right now? And that's practical. How can I be of service to what is here? Not, bring in more to the load. Okay? How can I balance myself out? How can I have a greater determination? How can I be more vital? How can I heal and heal more? How can I really heal? How can I truly heal? How can I deeply heal? And if I feel that I am solid within myself, that I'm solid within my self-esteem, my self-worth, solid in this relationship that is very reliable, very dependable for me, that's going to see me through, and I'm going to see him through, and we're both going to see this family through, then I feel like if I earned that privilege to have a child through my practical efforts of obtaining balance, then that's something. But a lot of us, we don't see balance as like something we need to, a child need, or we need to, we don't see as I need to triumph, get that balance before I sit there and have a child. A lot of us, we don't think like that. Because, we say I'm getting too old, or it's not happening quick enough. I'm not meeting my guy quick enough. I'm 30, or I'm 28, I'm getting 30, I'm not meeting anybody, so I'm just gonna go for that guy. Or I'm gonna get married in 8 months with some guy and then get pregnant 3 months later and then do that kind of thing. And we all want to have fun and we all have our stories, and it's nothing, I'm just saying, I'm stating the Gen Z sort of perspective, and we all say that the population is increasing, and as it continues to increase, we're actually going to be more confused. Okay, so a part of the Gen Z, I feel like we're taming it down. We're like literally taming the beast of this population, by making a conscious choice that we need balance. That's the medicine we need. Children are beautiful. They're so soulful and so bright and radiant, and they bring so much positivity to this planet. But we need balance. We need adults to be balanced. It's lovely children playing in the garden and the grass, but we need adults playing in the garden and playing in the grass. We need balance. That's very practical. It's very realistic. That a part of the balance and the success of the generation is about us really wanting, like we have to want to have balance, and we have to have the grit and the determination and the stamina and the vitality and the self-worth and the healing. And a part of that is really finding our way as a human, as an individual, finding our way. And I feel like this isn't selfish. This is generous. We think of generous to ourselves and to our kids and to the relationship, being generous by being honest with ourselves and what we have to give and how we can see the bigger picture. So yes, this is the Gen Z mindset on having children.